This is Chris Morrow at Comic-Con at Home, and my home is in San Diego, and I'm in my backyard. I'm with Dr. Alison Thompson. Where are you at home?
Hi, I'm in Miami, Florida. Pretty much the epicenter right now of coronavirus.
Tell me well, let's start off with, thank you for sending me 500 masks. And she gave me a mask challenge to where I could pass the masks out, the KN95 mask, to anybody who I thought needed it. And it was more of a grassroots effort to where it was, you're the founder of Third Wave Volunteers. And you want to talk about this type of challenge that you've been sending to people all over the world?
Yes, we have learned that it's really important to wear a mask. You know, there's so many studies in it now that we're learning more about the virus, and it's really saying, I respect you. But a lot of people, even though a lot of the young people are asymptomatic, they're still carrying the disease. And if someone around you has a heart condition or diabetes or anything, they can pick it up. Now, the troubling part about that is people just think it's older people. But in Florida, we're having like 23% of young people, I'm talking about, 16-year-olds, 14-year-olds, and that are being hospitalized. And 1 in 3 are testing positive. So it's not just old people anymore. It's for everyone to wear a mask, just so you can keep yourself safe. But mainly it's about respect for the others around you, because they could be dead 2 weeks later if you pass this virus onto them. We have 30,000 first responders in our org, and they're working in all the hospitals nationwide, but also in Bahamas and Haiti and around the world. And they have been begging us for protection because they have to wear 1 mask in a month. So we're working out of our garage. We get donations, we buy the masks, and we just send them out nationwide. And it really is an important gift, because we get calls and texts back of people just crying, saying thank you because they didn't have any masks. So it's really important that we do wear our masks, because we have to contain this so we can get on with our living. And until this coronavirus has been, we have the vaccine, nobody is safe.
You started, I guess, all of your volunteerism and the Third Wave Volunteers during 9/11.
Yeah, we're disaster responders, and I had a lot of other different jobs. I was a filmmaker, investment banker, and all sorts of things. And then September 11th happened, and I really realized working down there that everybody's needed. It wasn't just medical people or these type of people. Like, there's a way to step up, because people have to hand out water or give people hugs or do the cooking or whatever we have to do. So we've been in all the major disasters around the world, all the main natural disasters, but this is our very biggest one. We've had 14 of our Third Wave volunteers die, and these are young, healthy nurses. Something happened just a few days ago, which has me troubled. There was a doctor who's been working so hard with patients for months, and this 26-year-old girl, she wasn't overweight, she had no prior conditions, she was dying, and he had to say goodbye to the family via FaceTime, and this is really heartbreaking. So he took his gloves and his mask off, and he sat with her and cried with her till she died. Now, I know this is very controversial and everything, but I just feel for all the first responders, and they ask you to wear a mask so they don't overcrowd the hospitals. So then when it's time for your family member to come in, there is space. But if we don't wear masks and everyone's getting sicker and sicker and the cases are going through the roof, your family member will have to die at home. So that's the main reason, is to slow down the infections getting into the hospital so it doesn't overwhelm the system.
You've been in 9/11, you've been in Indonesia, you've been to Haiti after the earthquake, you've been to Greece with their refugees. How is this so different for the volunteer for COVID?
This has been our hardest disaster yet, because we have our first responders out in the hospitals working, but also for the non-medical volunteers, it's been very hard, because we usually round up thousands of volunteers, but everybody has to stay at home and social distancing. So we can never have more than 6 volunteers packing the masks at a time. So it's been really challenging, but nothing stops us. There's always a solution, and there's always a way to get help. So that's what we're doing out of the garage, where we sent out over 500,000 N95 masks so far, and we're not quitting.
500,000, wow. Well, I have to tell you that I gave some of these to teachers, I gave some of these to postmen, to nurses, just to the Border Patrol, to homeless people. And we just really want to thank you so much for giving this opportunity to be able to give them to people that would never, ever have the opportunity to to be able to even afford a KN95 mask, and most of them are over the age of 50, so they're quite vulnerable.
And the mask, you know, a cloth mask, it only really prevents 60%. It only protects you 60%, but these N95 masks will protect you 95%. So it's just like higher. But I really believe everybody should have them, not just medical, because we all want to be safe. And we're all, you know, we go back home to our grandparents, our parents, and all this sort of stuff. So it's really about being smart and responsible. I think it's being patriotic, really, to be able to protect Americans coming together. It's not political, even though people have made it that. It's really about us coming together in this disaster and stopping and slowing down this virus.
Any other advice that you have for just a regular individual that may not have a KN95 mask or wants to get involved and volunteer?
Yeah, I'd say still continue to wear your mask, but have common sense about you. When I walk my dog down the street, I have it in my hand because there's no one else on the street. But if someone passes, I just put it on as respect. So it's really about using common sense and intelligence. And even having this type of mask, a cloth mask, is really going to help because it's just common sense.
You need to wear glasses too when you're wearing a mask. Do you have to worry about it getting into your
Yes,
eyes?
we've had so many patients who had the mask and they were doing the right procedure, but they really believed that they got it through their eyes. So we wear shields, and even if you just have glasses on, that will give you, reading glasses will give you protection. So that is another high risk because those that coronavirus, it's got a little spike and it's going around your body and it's seeing where it can get in. And it's looking for these little receptors that are right in your nose. And that's what bothers me when people wear it under the nose, because it's looking for that. It's going to go up and straight to your lungs. And why all the young people are getting sick now in Florida is because everyone's been vaping or, you know, smoking pot or whatever. And they say, oh, I'm really, really healthy. But they forget they've been smoking for so long. And what's happening is this is a disease of the lungs. So it goes straight to your lungs. So if you've been smoking for an incredible amount of time, it's really going to affect you. So don't think that, oh, I'm really healthy, I'm not going to be touched. You know, people that are vaping and smoking, it affects them as well.
What do you think about these conventions that have started doing things online, like Comic-Con, where they were doing like all their panels online instead of having gatherings?
I think it's very responsible to do everything online. And I think in the future, we're going to be starting to do even more things online. But it's very responsible because it's just been proven over and over when crowds get together, it's just impossible to social distancing. And I really believe, and a lot of my doctor friends believe, that this is airborne. And that's not official from the CDC or the WHO, but we really believe that. So keeping things online for a while now is really needed. It just makes no sense for people to congregate in big groups, because every time we hear of a big party with 500 people in Miami, there it is, like clockwork, 2 weeks later, like 50 people have it. So please use your common sense.
Let's talk about comics now. I hear that Dr. Alison soon is going to be in a comic, and your quirkiness, the lady who was knighted by the Queen, the Australian. Can you talk about that?
It's in the beginning stages, so I can't mention names and things, but being out in disasters, there have been adventures all over the world, and there's so many things we can learn with these disasters getting bigger and bigger. So what's happened is we're creating an animation set in a 20-year-old girl, a college girl, and it's to deal with all sorts of things from the environment to the climate, and in it you actually learn some skills on how to save some lives and that. So we're creating this, it's set in the future, and it's all about the superpower of love and how we all can have it. So we're really excited that we're creating it now with a South Korean animation company, and it's full steam ahead.
Thank you, Dr. Alison. I loved your challenge of the 500 masks. I think you've saved a lot of people's lives. You made them feel a lot better, a lot more confident working. And this is Chris Morrow at Comic-Con at Home in San Diego. Thank you. Lots of love.